kind of status, becoming a pariah state. I wanted to actually ask you about the recent statement made by Yoav Golan, who is the Israel Democratic Party leader. He had some interesting statements that he made on Tuesday on Israeli public radio. And Yair Golan is not just Israel's Democratic Party leader, he's also a reserve major general in the IDF and, of course, former soldier and commander.
Israel is on its way to becoming a pariah state among nations, like South Africa was, if we don't return to acting like a sane country. And a sane country does not wage war against civilians, does not kill babies as a hobby, and does not give itself the aim of expelling populations.
What are your thoughts on this statement, this admission from an Israeli that the IDF kills children?
Well, my first reaction is a very idiosyncratic one. I was hoping somebody would pull that clip and juxtapose it next to that thing called Destiny and Benny Morris when I was in a debate with them.
For a historian, I don't want to understand Israeli society. You want to know the truth? I don't want to. I don't want to get inside their heads.
That's the problem.
90% of
a good historian tries to get into the heads of
there's a limit. There's a limit. There's a limit. When 90% of Israelis think that Israel's using enough or too little force in Gaza, I don't want to get inside that head. 40% think that Israel's using insufficient force in Gaza. I don't want to get inside that head. I don't want to get inside the head of people who think they're using insufficient force against the population, half of which is children. I don't want to get inside that head. I know.
They believe that they are killing Hamasniks. They're given
I'm sure they believe it.
I'm sure they attack.
Every time they target a kid, I'm sure they believe it's Hamas.
And the issue came up of whether Israel kills children. And they laughed off the whole idea and said it's totally crazy. And I began to give examples. And each example they sought to refute. And then I gave what seemed to me the most compelling example, which was the March 2018 March of Return in Gaza. Great March of Return it was called. The UN report, which was very thorough, ran to 250 pages, single-spaced. It said that Israel was targeting children, targeting journalists, targeting medics, targeting disabled people. When it didn't outright kill them, it was targeting them at the kneecap to give them life-changing injuries. And all of it was exhaustively documented. That thing called Destiny, he was very agitated at the claim. Benny Morris tried to distance himself, the Israeli historian, he tried to distance himself from what the March 2018, but they were both very adamant. So there was a certain relief, you might call it, on my part, when the Israeli official or opposition party official, he said what everybody knows. Israel targets the children. You might recall that Pharaoh Sidwa, the doctor who was in Gaza, he and I think it was something like 60, you can correct me, 60 other doctors and medical personnel, they provided enough evidence to convince the New York Times that children were being targeted in the head and in the